Sometimes, the smallest knock at your door carries a story big enough to change your whole life. It was past midnight when Ethan Cole heard the sound soft, rapid knocking against his old wooden door. He frowned, checked the clock, 12:43 a.m., and grabbed his flashlight. Out here on the edge of Maple Hollow, visitors didn't come this late. He opened the door slowly. Standing in the pouring rain was a little girl, no more than 6, shivering, soaked to the bone. Her pink jacket clung to her small frame, and her big blue eyes were wide with fear. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling. "They took my mommy." I ran. Ethan's heart dropped. He crouched down, holding the flashlight lower. Hey, it's okay. You're safe now. What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lila," she sniffled. "Lila Grace." Ethan didn't ask more. He just opened the door wider and said gently, "Come on in, Lila. Let's get you warm." Ethan was a single dad, raising his 9-year-old son, Jack, ever since his wife passed away 3 years ago. He'd worked long hours as a carpenter, taking whatever odd jobs came his way. Life was quiet, simple, until now. He wrapped the girl in a blanket and set a cup of cocoa before her. Jack rubbed his sleepy eyes, peeking into the kitchen. "Dad? Who's that?" Ethan smiled softly. "Someone who needs our help tonight." Lila looked up at him with tears in her eyes. "Will they find me?" He frowned. "Who, sweetheart?" "The men," she whispered. "They came to our house. Mommy said to run and hide." Ethan's stomach tightened. He picked up the phone. No signal. The storm had cut out the lines again. "Don't worry," he said firmly. "You're safe here. I promise." The storm raged through the night. Ethan made a small bed for Lila beside the couch, tucking her in with Jack's old blanket. But he barely slept. Something about the girl, her politeness, the way she said, "Thank you," the fear behind her eyes, it haunted him. The next morning, the storm cleared, revealing news alerts on his phone. Billionaire philanthropist Evelyn Grace's daughter, missing after mansion break-in. Ethan froze. Evelyn Grace, founder of Grace Tech Industries, a name plastered on half the city's billboards. He looked over at Lila, peacefully asleep under the blanket. And for the first time in years, he didn't know what to do. By afternoon, the police were searching nearby towns. Ethan debated calling, but something in his gut said wait. Then, around dusk, Lila woke up and tugged at his sleeve. "Mr. Ethan?" "Yeah." "My mommy said, if I ever got lost, to find a man with kind eyes." He blinked, taken aback. "And you think that's me?" She nodded seriously. "You have kind eyes." Ethan swallowed hard, trying not to show emotion. "Well, your mom sounds like a very smart lady." That evening, Ethan packed sandwiches, took Jack and Lila into his old truck, and drove toward town, hoping to find a working signal. But before he could call, 2 black SUVs sped past them, heading toward his cabin. Something wasn't right. He turned off the road, heart pounding. Whoever those men were, they weren't police. That night, as they hid in a nearby barn, Ethan realized something. Protecting this girl wasn't just about doing what's right. It was about doing what any father would do if it were his own child. And deep down, he already felt like she was. Sometimes, helping a stranger means uncovering a secret someone powerful doesn't want found. By morning, the storm had passed, but trouble hadn't. Ethan managed to reach the sheriff's office through a payphone. Within minutes, a convoy of black SUVs pulled up, led not by police, but by Evelyn Grace herself. She stepped out, poised yet visibly shaken. Her tailored gray coat glistened in the light drizzle, and her eyes darted toward Lila. "Lila!" she gasped, running forward and dropping to her knees. "Oh my God, baby." The little girl broke free from Ethan's grasp and ran into her mother's arms. "Mommy!" For a moment, Ethan felt nothing but relief. But then, confusion. The men in suits surrounding her didn't look like security. They looked like bodyguards trained for something else. One of them, tall and cold-eyed, whispered something in Evelyn's ear. She glanced at Ethan, her face pale. Where did you find her?" Ethan hesitated. "She showed up at my cabin last night. Said men were after you." Evelyn's jaw tightened. They were. My husband's business partner. He's been laundering funds through our foundation. When I confronted him, he sent men to silence me. They grabbed my daughter by mistake. Her voice cracked. You saved her. Ethan nodded slowly. Just did what anyone would. But as she turned to leave, Lila clung tighter to his hand. Can Ethan come too? She whispered. Evelyn looked up, really looked at him, and something flickered behind her eyes. Over the next few days, Ethan and Jack found themselves staying at Evelyn's mansion under tight security. For Jack, it was paradise: video games, endless snacks, and a real backyard. For Ethan, it was unsettling. He was a simple man surrounded by marble floors and private guards. But every evening, Lila would sneak into the kitchen, dragging Ethan along to make grilled cheese like the cabin ones. Evelyn would watch from the doorway, smiling faintly, but her eyes always carried sadness. One night, after the kids were asleep, she finally spoke. My husband passed 2 years ago, she said quietly. And since then, it's been one battle after another. Everyone wants something. Investors, media, the board. No one just helps. Ethan nodded. Sometimes people forget the value of doing the right thing without expecting anything back. She smiled softly. You remind me of him, my husband. He wasn't rich when we met. He was a carpenter. Ethan froze, startled. A carpenter? She laughed softly. Funny coincidence. Huh? But the peace didn't last long. That night, the mansion alarm blared, red lights flashing. The same men who attacked before had found them. Ethan rushed toward Lila's room, scooping her up as bullets shattered the windows. Evelyn screamed for security. They escaped through a back corridor, Evelyn leading, Ethan shielding the kids. After a tense chase through the woods, police sirens filled the air. The attackers were arrested, the corrupt business partner among them. When it was finally over, Evelyn turned to Ethan, tears streaming. You didn't just save my daughter, she said. You saved me. But the story wasn't over, because the next morning, Evelyn asked Ethan to meet her privately. Ethan, she said softly, there's something you don't know. Something I just discovered. Her voice trembled. Lila isn't just my daughter. Sometimes, fate doesn't bring strangers together. It brings family back home. Ethan frowned, unsure he heard her right. What do you mean? Lila isn't just your daughter. Evelyn took a shaky breath. Years ago, before I married, I gave birth to twins. A boy and a girl. He blinked, stunned. The boy was taken after birth. A mix-up in the hospital, or so I was told. I searched for years but found nothing. Her eyes welled up. Until now. She reached into her purse and handed him an envelope. Inside was a DNA report. Your son, Jack, she whispered. He's mine too. Ethan staggered back. No, that's not possible. It is, she said. I ran the tests after seeing his birth records. Ethan, your late wife must have adopted him as a baby. I don't know if she ever knew the truth. Ethan sat down hard, shock flooding him. Jack, his boy, the son he'd raised, loved, taught to fish, was her missing child. Evelyn knelt beside him. I don't want to take him from you, but you deserve to know, we're family. When Jack found out, he was quiet for a long time. Then he smiled faintly. So, that means Lila's my sister? Ethan nodded, tears in his eyes. Yeah, kiddo. Looks like you've got more family than you thought. Jack grinned. Cool. From that day on, their lives intertwined in ways no one could have predicted. Evelyn helped Ethan open a woodworking studio, fully funded, with profits going to help single parents. Ethan taught her to enjoy normal things again. Campfires, home-cooked meals, laughing without cameras. And the children? They were inseparable, Lila and Jack. Two halves of one story finally reunited. Months later, at a quiet ceremony in the countryside, Evelyn stood beside Ethan as partners. Not in business, but in life. She looked up at him and said softly, You gave my children a home before I even knew they were mine. He smiled. And you gave me back a family I never thought I'd have. The sun dipped low over the hills as they stood together. Four souls bound not by fate, but by kindness, courage, and the power of doing what's right.